Miss World, isn't it? Yeah. or Miss Great Britain. Yeah.
Well, I.
Please leave out the swear word, though.
I don't swear.
No, that was your mother, wasn't it?
My mother, of course. Miss Surrey does not swear. No, I think even myself had a very negative perception of what pageantry was prior to entering, and the truth is, it really is a platform to make of it what you want. Now, does everyone make of it what they could? No, but I think for what it is, you really have to think, okay, if I'm being given this platform to impact others and to be a role model, what does that signify for me? So yes, has pageantry been a lot of pretty dresses and makeup? Yes, it is, but that is not what the majority of it is. And definitely when I entered in it, my mum, in telling her, she was just like, are you sure? Like, but are you sure they're not trying to take your money? But you, because in her head, her young, daughter who was ambitious and who was driven, it wasn't synonymous with being a beauty queen. So she wasn't the most receptive to it to start with, but she's definitely warmed up, and now she's my number one biggest supporter because she understands the significance of it. And I think in having this Miss Surrey title, not only has it made me reevaluate, okay, so what is my purpose within my community of Surrey, but it's also made me reevaluate, okay, but what do I symbolize as a young woman? Do I want to be someone who just, sort of stands on stage and people want to say, I want to look like her? Or do I want to be this young woman where girls are saying, I want to be like her in the way she carries it herself, in the way she talks eloquently, in the way she goes for goals, in the way she impacts her community. I don't want people to just say, I want to look like her. I want people to say, I want to be like her. And I think it's important for, I guess, in my own way, to try and shift the negative stereotype that's often associated with pageants, and hopefully encourage people to see that it is a platform for young women to represent other young women who may not necessarily have the guidance in their own communities to understand what it means to be a young woman who is driven, who is empowered, and who is also externally and internally beautiful.
I must admit, when I first got the email and I read Miss Surrey, I was like,
oh
God.
Yeah.
But then as I carried on reading and, I read more into what you actually do, I thought, oh, this actually does sound worthy, and it certainly has been. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. I think a lot of people are like that at first. Even I was before, when if someone were like, oh, I'm entering a pageant, you're like, why?
Yeah.
What else do you do?
Mm.
So yeah, I think it is very much like that. It's kind of, oh, but it's a beauty pageant. But I think that once again is a lot about how do we perceive beauty. Okay, is it about because of how slim I am, or because how glossy my hair is, or is my beauty about how much good I do in my community and how much I can empower young women to feel like they're completely capable of taking on the world regardless of what their situational circumstances are. And I think that is then, okay, that's what beauty means to me. Okay, this is the beauty pageant I'm entering, but beauty is not just external. And I think, so going forward, if continuously talking to people, trying to kind of consolidate that idea that beauty is so much more than external, and I think hopefully in a few years to come, when you start saying Miss Great Britain, they'll be like, oh, great, rather than, oh, why? So it's definitely a process.
Yeah, and I think also we got to sort of move away from the word pageant, because all I think about is America and their little kids doing their high kicks.
Congeniality, high kicks and spinning things and curls and I want world peace, So I think there's a lot of that. So when you say pageant, it automatically kind of puts you back up, because you're like, I'm not in a pageant, because even I'm like, I'm in Miss Great Britain competition.
Yes,
it's the beauty
definitely.
competition, external and internal. So yes, I think it's very hard, obviously, to then change the pageant concept, because it is a pageant by definition. But we have to kind of change the the significance of what pageant means in community, and that takes time, you know. And I think that's only going to happen by encouraging more, you know, strong, intelligent women to go for positions like this, because then if you do see women like that who have, you know, Miss titles, then you no longer think of a pageant as sort of a negative, vacuous, you know, title. You then think, oh, okay, having a Miss title is about a woman who carries herself with elegance and poise and strength. I think strength is extremely important. But that definitely, it definitely takes representation to change that. So I would like to be, as Miss Surrey, I guess, a dynamic shift in what pageantry represents. And hopefully, if I'm to win Miss Great Britain in September, to go on then to represent, you know, Britain on an international scale, for women to understand then that having a Miss title is so much more than, I guess, the vapidness it usually and historically has been associated with.
Because usually I think what you find is that you get Miss Great Britain and then you never hear from them again.
Yeah, you're like, what are you doing? I think lots of people kind of see it as, okay, well, I've got this title, fantastic, we have a final in September, and then if I win it, great, I'm Miss Great Britain, you know? But it's so much more than an addition to a wiki page or Facebook, you know? If you win it, then, and even if you don't win it, it's still an accomplishment. But I think any title you've been given is a chance for you to, I guess, mould and form your public image, but also a public image whereby other young women can model themselves, you know, after. And I think, okay, 10, 15, 20 years from now, how do I want my sister to think of herself as her purpose in society? How do I think other young women should carry themselves? And that isn't, you know, just, you know, contouring and being pretty. That is about women who have their own businesses, who employ other women by empowering them, who are making, if not the same or more than the man for an hourly rate, because that's still a problem. And also women who feel that, okay, well, I can do everything and I can have everything and there's nothing wrong with that. So I think, you know, by building that platform and building that image, that's extremely important. And I think anyone who wants to apply for Miss Great Britain has to understand that that is what comes with the title and that's what should come with the title.
Yes. So I think you're going to change the way the Miss World is viewed, and then you can go on to change the world as Prime Minister.
Exactly. That's the next stop. You know what, in Miss World, you know, don't give me, you know, 50 dresses as my prize. You know, pay for my masters, or, you know, offer £10,000 for a business startup. You know, it shouldn't be that, okay, fantastic, I won this, but it should be that the prize helps me for self-development.
Yes.
And I think if we kind of move into that direction, then we can also change the perception of, okay, that's what it means. Because then if you're being awarded with things which are about personal growth and empowerment, then you change the perception of what that pageant has always signified.
Yes,
so
definitely
that changes with time.
Clap for that.
We'll
well
see.
done.
Thank you.
Well
little
done.
by little.
Yes, that's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. That was yeah, and I think you'll do it. I really do. I have every faith in you.
Thank you.
I will not let you back if you don't do it.
The pressure. Okay, challenge accepted.
Thank you. You heard it here on Ridge Radio. No, that's no, brilliant. I'm just absolutely blown away by you. I really am. It's so nice, so refreshing. And Skybrook, I hope you've taken a lot from this as well, because this is the way forward.
Well, Sky, I expect you to be in my position in 10 years from now, so I can be interviewing you.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to be out of a job, I can see. Bye bye world. Right, I think this is quite apt. Turning Japanese by the Vapors.